It is a dark time for the fandom. Evil forces of corporate greed and malfeasance have conspired to render the once proud franchise a shadow of its former self. Left with no other alternative, Rebels return to a time when things were fun and hopeful, a time of legends. Welcome to X-Wing Redux.
Hey, what's up, folks? And welcome back once again.
Boarding gate 2.
So last time around, finished the Death Star runs in the B-Wing. So now it's time to see how this thing stacks up to everything else on the proving grounds. So buckle up, it's time for some commentary. Alright, so top score is still the X-Wing with level 11. And yeah, we'll see if the B-Wing can score better. Just as a reminder, the X-Wing is still my top scoring here, with making it to level 11, while the other two both made it to level 10. Which, honestly, I was solidly impressed with the Y-Wing for making it that far, and also a little bit disappointed in the A-Wing for not getting any farther. Biggest problem the B-Wing is going to have is the weapon positioning. For lasers, I'm going to have to triple link. Although for ion cannons, I want to use ion cannons, which is what I've switched to now. As long as I don't mind wasting that middle shot every time, I can get some very consistent hits out of the ion cannons. So that'll be a question that'll come into play later, I suppose. Switch over. So I get an actual target here. Theoretically, this should perform at least as well as the X-Wing. It's not significantly slower, and it's got heavier shields and more cannon energy to be able to dump into shields later. So we'll see. X-Wing with one click of weapon recharge, it does 88. One click of charge in for the weapon, for the lasers, this one's at 80, which is top speed for Y-Wings. I'm definitely expecting it to do better than the old Y-Wing. Big joker in the deck is going to be cannon performance. Since with the X-Wing, I can dual link, at least get a little bit more fire rate. With this, like I said, triple linked is potentially gonna hurt me later. So we'll see. It'll be an interesting one. I don't really have any particular rant type comments that I'd come up with for this. I mean, yeah, the Acolyte is still running, and I hear that that's up to episode number 5 now. Yeah, whatever. Don't care. I have been highly amused watching Critical Drinkers takes on it, but yeah. Other than that, I got nothing to say about that. So I did kind of talk about my philosophy of playing video games, fighting through the trench run, which, oh my gosh. That is a mission never to be underestimated. And of course, I'll eventually get there again in the X-Wing as part of the campaign. Though that'll be a number of episodes from now. Because what's coming after this is going to be bonus missions, which are also a major challenge, and then I'll get started with the campaign. So, I kind of consider, I don't know, I think the Proving Grounds is probably the most thing in this game, but it is kind of a fun little measure of skill, and it's probably the best practice in the game that you have for trying to do the trench run mission. Since you've got to be picking off all of these static turret targets. And dealing with incoming fire. So there's that. But still, I definitely prefer the TIE Fighter maze course that's shorter. Which, of course, will come up on this channel again in due time as I do my crazy get all the bonus objectives recording for that. Once I'm done with this. But in the meantime, oh, that's interesting. Those turrets can shoot through that block. I don't like that. That's kind of rude. At least this thing's faster than a Y-Wing. So if I can keep my shields up. Actually, I did see an interesting video today, and I'll throw a link in the description for this video. A guy was talking about the demise of the X-Wing tabletop game, which, ironically, I have not a lot of miniatures for, but I've got a few minis from that, even though I never actually played the game. I'd picked up some minis and then been gifted a few with fully intending on playing it, but yeah, I just never did. And it's interesting slash kind of sad how many different licensors have had that Star Wars license for tabletop games, miniatures games, collectible card games, and just, you know, they just don't quite ever stick. I mean, it used to be like some of the old 90s, I forget who had the tabletop RPG license then, but you know, like some of those source books back in the day were considered canon. So like they had, you know, those companies had the license and the ability to come up with some new characters, new settings, etc. It seems like, of course, with Disney, that's way more heavily controlled, and if it's not coming from the official Disney source, then the licensor can't do anything, so you're kind of stuck. Which I would imagine is a little bit of a problem, because like the guy kind of pointed out, you know, let's say a miniatures game, I mean, you sell everybody an X-Wing and a Y-Wing and a Star Destroyer and whatever, and well, then what? I mean, you can start mining the books and stuff for more obscure things. You can start going with the newer show stuff, but I mean, I don't know. I would argue that's part of the problem too. Is like if you have that license, yeah, you know, everybody's going to want an X-Wing and a Y-Wing and a B-Wing and a Millennium Falcon. And nobody really cares about the new Disney stuff. So, it's the same problem of Disney has done a phenomenal job of poisoning the well for their license. One thing that's going to be really interesting to me actually is the new open world RPG Star Wars game that's supposed to come out. Star Wars Outlaw, whatever it is. Be interesting to see how that one's received. Because I've seen some things that are interesting about it. I've definitely also seen some few things that give me pause for concern. So it is definitely not going to be a day one purchase for me. I'm gonna wait on that one until I see some reviews from sources that I trust. But yeah, I'm interested to see how that comes out. Because if I recall correctly, I mean, other than the re-releases that have happened, which obviously that most recent Star Wars Battlefront 2 re-release was hot garbage. And then Star Wars Bounty Hunter is getting a re-release. I saw that. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see how that one plays out. I never played that game back when it first came out either. But it's just that thing of I'm gonna wait until I see some reviews before I hand over any money for any Star Wars licensed product. So, we'll see. I mean, you know, in a few months, who knows? I might be singing a different tune. But for now, this suffices. It's entertaining, it's still good. Provides a solid challenge. I am definitely looking forward to eventually getting into TIE Fighter one more time. And meanwhile, obviously, on days when I don't have X-Wing videos up, I'm continuing to put up Wing Commander videos, and actually I'm more than halfway done with Privateer Righteous Fire as of this recording. So that's been a fun jaunt as well. I had never played that one way back when, so that one's been totally new experience for me. Played some of Privateer 2, which was not so well received. I thought it was fun, but it'll be interesting when I work my way back up to that one again. So when I finish Privateer Righteous Fire, I'm gonna have to figure out the next thing on the Wing Commander playlist will be Wing Commander Armada, which, again, I own. I have never played. I got it on GOG. I never played that one back in the day. It's from that weird hybrid era of it's part strategy, part flying. I don't know. Figuring out how to package those videos is going to be an interesting question in and of itself. Obviously, I'll figure out something. And then I'll be on to the full motion video Wing Commanders, and that'll be kind of a hilarious crossover because that 90s Luke Skywalker shows up. I mean, no shade. Okay, actually a little bit of shade. 90s FMV was such a weird time. It's like, yeah, you're gonna play as Mark Hamill. And everyone at that point, is like, oh, it's Luke Skywalker. Oh, Luke Skywalker got that. He is a little bit out of shape, especially in Wing Commander 3. The cast list for that game is just amazing. It's going to be hilarious to run through it. Because 90s FMV was just... 90s FMV was just wild. For who people were convincing to be in their... fairly low, what basically amounts to a low budget, grainy, couple steps above the art school level game videos. Low budget isn't entirely fair. Wing Commander 3 had a pretty hefty budget. Same for like Command and Conquer. A lot of other games sure didn't. Alright. And a quick commentary on the actual game that I'm Triple Blasters are doing honestly better than I expected. Definitely missing a few shots, but I've got just enough cycle time to generally hit all the targets in a single pass, just like that. And of course the B-Wing is sufficiently maneuverable to pull it off. That said, I do want to switch over. Switch to ion cannons and let the lasers recharge for a hot second. Bad part is just absolutely wasting that middle shot every time, so that's going to cost me a few points. But can still do a full pass. Am I missing more shots than I do with triple link lasers? Not really. I'm generally just missing every third shot versus 2 out of 3 on a lot of these passes. Ion cannon bolts actually move slower than lasers do. I have to remember that the middle shot is going into the ground every time. But obviously, kind of works okay. Alright, back to lasers. The main reason for doing that is just to kind of balance out my power use a little bit. Because in a couple more levels, I start actually taking more shield hits. It's going to matter how much energy I have. As well get back in the habit now. Totally wasted that one. Messing up and forgetting which cannon I'm on in the cycle, even though it's obviously right there in front of my face on the HUD. But when I remember, worked out okay. Okay, level 5, here we go. Turrets got temporarily easier. We'll start running into heavier opposition here shortly. But that was a good opportunity to rebalance all my shields. All that good stuff. Now we're taking fire. Actually, talking about going back to the miniatures game, licensed game things, it's funny. So one of my other favorite franchises that I've mentioned a couple times is BattleTech/MechWarrior. And now my oldest son has gotten really into the miniatures. And actually all my boys are really into the miniatures right now. The oldest one has a teenage job and money to spend on miniatures and paints and all that. So he's mostly bought all the books and terrain and mechs and everything. But and then his brothers are kind of playing with him, mostly using his stuff, although they've bought some things with their money too. But it's interesting. Back before I had kids, 18 years ago, I was pretty deep into the WizKids clicks-based version of BattleTech. So they still do hero clicks, but they had a whole MechWarrior Dark Age with their click-based stuff. I did some competitions, and I have a bunch of miniatures for that stuff because I have a hard time throwing things away that I spent a bunch of money on that are quasi-collector's items, even though there's not really much of a market for those. But the nice thing is that even though on the click bases they're a little bit too large for the hexes proper, they work pretty well with all of the newer mechs. The scale's not quite perfect, but it's close enough. So that stuff has gotten a delightful new life for mechs and vehicles and whatever that either haven't gotten a new miniature released by Catalyst, or just they have some more of them, or for stuff that just a lot of it just has not gotten a Catalyst release, maybe a re-release, because all of it's Dark Age. But with BattleTech, even the Dark Age mechs and vehicles, some of them were new, but a lot of them were. And then I guess now the official canon timeline has gone up to what they're calling the I forget. Anyway, they keep advancing the timeline, so, which, I mean, I guess the only way to keep adding new stuff, because you gotta sell stuff. No shade there, I mean, hey, unlike Disney, Catalyst understands that it's important to sell product. And if you want to sell product, you want to, by and large, give fans what they want. What a weird concept. Anyway, it's just kind of interesting and funny and kind of cool. Like, combination with that particular hobby of I kind of got priced out of the competitive scene and just when the kids were born, it was just kind of, well, I don't really have space to keep this up to date, and I don't have the time to play competition. I definitely don't have the money, because baby needs formula and diapers. So, well, just kind of got packed away into a couple of boxes, and all of a sudden it's out and been rediscovered, and that's kind of cool. I also received some largesse from one of my brothers who moved continents and gave me a lot of his old stuff because he didn't want to take it with him. So that's kind of gone to the teens for their armies as well. So they are very well stocked. At some point, I think, yeah, I've still got a box of the Decipher Star Wars CCG from the 90s somewhere, too. Talking about defunct games. Well, I've also got several shoe boxes of the very defunct Battletech CCG from Wizards of the Coast from the 90s that played very similarly to Magic the Gathering, but with Battletech. I still like that game and that system. That was actually what introduced me to a couple of my favorite kind of factions and mechs. Like, I have, if not favorites, it's kind of like, oh, I know that mech. I like that one. It's total garbage, yeah, but I have fond memories of one of the cards saving my butt kind of thing is how it usually goes. So, I suppose that's one nice thing, even when games go defunct, if you enjoy them. I mean, I guess it's not really much different than what I'm doing here, right? It's like, you enjoy it, it's not an MMO that just disappears, or something like, or some kind of game as a service thing like The Crew, where somebody just shuts off the server and poof, it's gone. At least with a physical thing, you can still play it. I've still got my D&D 3.5 edition source books. Technically, if I could find a group, or convince my kids to be a group, I could do a 3.5 edition D&D campaign. I don't know that I'd necessarily do that, just because I played some 3.5 edition D&D, obviously. I had a lot of fun with it, but there's a lot of complexities with that. And I know a lot of people kind of hate the 4th edition and 5th edition for a lot of the streamlining they've done. And you can make an argument that in some cases it has been overly streamlined, and it's going to be interesting to see what the next edition does. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm not exactly Wizard of the Coast's biggest fan for some of the changes they've done in the last couple years either, so I don't. As I do not have a active D&D group, it's not really a problem that I have. I would be tempted to start stocking up on more of the old stuff, though, just so that I could get a good game in without a lot of the current year meddling that they've been doing. Okay, so now we're starting to take a fair bit of fire. I dump a lot of laser energy in these shields. And that's level 7, so I'm going to switch back to the ion cannons for a bit. Let my lasers start to recharge. Not too bad there. Pew pew, pew pew pew. Okay, that pass didn't run so hot. That's okay. I will note, speaking of coming future releases, and also BattleTech/MechWarrior, I will very possibly end up picking up the MechWarrior 5 Plans game. That might be a day one pickup for me. Only question there is, will my PC be able to handle it? Because it struggled with MechWarrior 5 Mercs because my poor little gaming war machine is old. Although they did also release it for PS5. But I'm just not sure that I want to play a MechWarrior game on a console. It just doesn't feel right. Oop. That hurts. Fortunate I did it in a spot where I didn't get my shields completely shredded, but that little mistake might be costly. Because this thing is not fast enough to be making a lot of those mistakes. sure that I really nail a lot of these targets. Since that allowed a couple seconds every time. But even if I don't use the ion cannons, just having those extra 3 banks of weapon energy to draw from is a big help, obviously. Because I can drain that energy into shields. Little... Where is it? There it is. Had to dump everything in there that time. Shields are starting to get a little sketchy. That's all right. Oh, yeah. Finished with 3.5 minutes to spare. Of course, this is where things start to get sketchy. To get the patch, gotta at least complete level 8. Which shouldn't be too much of an issue. But it is hitting the point in the game where I definitely need to keep a better eye on my shield stats. Make sure things are rebalanced. is going where it needs to be. At this point, I think I'm probably going to just stick with the lasers. I think the fire rate is good enough, even triple linked, and sometimes I hit with one of those wing guns. And just rely on the ion cannon capacitors for extra shield energy. Oh, rear facing group. You can definitely see by comparison, like, how much heavier the B-Wing shields are compared to the A-Wing. Or even the X-Wing. I mean, the B-Wing can just tank some hits. And as noted before, it's got tons of energy to work with. Just for a hot second there, yep, I'm back to full shields. Probably more than halfway through this particular level. So here we go. Actually, to name drop one more franchise, I started watching the Fallout TV show, and I'm rather enjoying that. But the biggest side effect of that was making me want to go back and play some Fallout games again. So, being the completionist that I am, I went all the way back to Fallout 1, which I had messed with a little bit last summer, but really, like, I played Fallout 1 back in the 90s. That was actually my first RPG. Was the Fallout series, my first computer RPG. But you know, I had gotten a 2-pack that was Fallout and Fallout 2, and so once I played through Fallout 1 once, it was on to Fallout 2, and kind of, if you know, you know, but once you play Fallout 2, it's really hard to go back to 1. both because of quality of life things that Fallout 2 does way better, and also just because it's a bigger world and it's more interesting. There's more stuff to do. So, but I went back to 1. There's a really cool mod that was recommended to me called Fallout 1 into 2, which basically does exactly what it sounds. It ports all of Fallout 1 into Fallout 2's engine, which means you get all of the lovely quality of life things. There's some mods on Fallout 2 by itself just to fix a few latent bug issues. And so yeah, kind of going back through that slowly in my admittedly almost non-existent free time, so I just kind of get 20 minutes or a half hour here and there. But that's fun. I'd kind of forgotten how fun the old kind of isometric semi-turn-based RPGs like that could be, and of course Black Isle was the master of them. So I don't know that any of those game playthroughs are ever going to show up. Either on YouTube or as Twitch streams, but yeah, we'll see. Since I mean, clearly I'm kind of a Fallout fan, hence the Vault Boy mask behind me. I cleaned up my wall back there a little bit. So we'll see. Fallout 5 announcement would probably be what would push me over the edge on a major expensive computer upgrade. Although, I don't know that I should say that, because technically the last Fallout game that I actually played through was 3. I know New Vegas is the best, and I like New Vegas, and I don't know why I stopped playing New Vegas, actually. Like, I have it, I enjoyed the heck out of it, because it is the closest to the old school Fallout 1 and 2. I don't remember when I stopped playing that one. Oh, no. Yeah, I do. Because story of my gaming career sometimes. I got New Vegas on PS3 because I did not have a computer at the time that was capable of running. So I got it for PS3. Well, my PS3 died. Sad story, but you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. Anyway, my PS3 died and I lost my save. And I just never had the heart, the time, what have you. Oh, that's why I'm going so slow. I accidentally bumped my shield charge rate up. Anyway, never had the heart or time to go back to it. So that's why I never finished that. And Fallout 4, I just down. I don't know. If my filthy casual Fallout playthroughs go far enough, I'll probably get there eventually, because I'm definitely going to play Fallout 2 again after this. I made so many Fallout 2 characters over the years. I always end up defaulting to guns because I have a bad habit with that game in particular, and computer RPGs in general, of make a character that seems like an interesting concept, play through the first few levels, and then just kind of lose interest and want to make a new idea. Definitely in Fallout, in the old ones, I definitely tend towards characters that can use firearms. Like, I always tell myself, oh, I'm going to make a melee character or an unarmed character or something. And then I mostly just end up with another small gun user because it's just so much more effective. Melee is fine in the early games. It's true of a lot of RPGs, I suppose, really. You know, melee combat's fine in the early to mid-game, but once you start going up against really big, nasty mobs, you really want to be able to kill them at range and not get up close and personal. B-Wing is not doing so hot right now. This is only level 9. And my shields are kind of screwed. I think the lack of speed okay, well, made it to level 10, but I got a feeling this is gonna be it. I think the X-Wing is gonna reign supreme. We'll see. But I think the laser energy is a problem. That cycle rate's actually starting to hurt me now. And having to fire... There it goes. Yep. Goodbye, lasers. That's a wrap. Alright, made it to level 10.
This is Red Leader. Excellent. You're ready for combat.
Alright, well, not too shabby overall. So, but yeah, X-Wing reigns supreme. Alright. I'll tune in next time, and I'll start the bonus missions. But until then, thanks for hanging out for my ramblings. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. Please remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification button. I put out new videos Monday through Friday at 8 a.m. Central Time, so thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.